For those of you who are not able to make the masterclass, I created this short video to help you understand how you can speak confidently. Because the truth is you want to be paid what you are worth. You want to be paid what you're worth in your at your job. You want to be treated what you're worth in your relationships. And most of all, you want to be treated what you are worth with yourself. So I'm going to share my screen because most of you wanted to attend the master class and for whatever reason you couldn't. So this is about the 5 hidden issues. Come on, let me help you out that are stopping you from speaking confidently. Come on, girl, and getting paid what you are worth. These issues are ruining, girl, your relationships, your wealth, and most of all, your respect. My name is Coach Sheree, and for over a decade, I have been helping women to speak confidently, helping them set boundaries, and helping them have success in their life. Now, the reason why I want you to make sure you stay until the end is I'm going to show you the 5 mindsets that stop women from walking out in their confidence. These are not issues that I found on ChatGPT. This has been in my work with women since the year 2014. Now, the reason why this masterclass is unique and better is because you're smart, you're capable, you've been to a retreat, you've been to conferences, and many of these are great. They help you to feel better. But girl, today I'm going to help you to do better. Now, I've done a lot of things right in my career. I'm a professional speaker and coach. I have coached thousands and interacted with thousands of women. I started off in ministry. I've helped executives reach organizational goals. I've helped married couples communicate effectively. I'm all about people communicating with confidence effectively. I've helped people avoid a divorce because the average divorce is like $12,000. I've been married for almost 25 years, started my own business, taught even the Las Vegas Raiders wives. I've been featured on multiple podcasts. I've spoken around the country and more. So I've done a lot of things right. But ladies, I've done some things wrong. I've even spoken with Shirley Ralph at an event in Central California, the Central California Women's Conference. But I've done a lot of things wrong. I dropped out of high school. I was in an abusive relationship. I couldn't articulate my thoughts. I failed at speaking at my first go. Here's what I want you to know. I am not perfect. Confidence is a skill you can build. It is not just a feeling that you have. And I'm going to emphasize that as we talk during our time today. Or actually, I'm the one who's talking, so you're the one who's listening, which is hilarious. I just said that. So when women are not speaking confidently, there are a few things going on. Sometimes they say it's because of my situation. It's because I'm in this relationship. It's because of the way I grew up. I have to let women know it's not that the situation is the issue. Usually your perspective is the issue. Something else that stops women from being fully confident is they should. I should be further by now. I should know by now. I should be doing better by now. I want you to remember this. Your should, girl, it brings you shame. Number 3, when you are not confident, more than likely you have engaged in comparison. This is where you do the er. This is where you look at women who are prettier, better, smarter. You over index on others and under index on yourself, which means that you are unaware of your greatness. So, my job as an advisor is to get you to stop comparing yourself and start contrasting yourself. That's what I do. And I discovered this the hard way. I'm going to give you the cheat code. And here's what most women do before I give you the cheat code. They do a few things. Number 1, they start off with praying. Now, I'm a woman of faith. This is not Bible study, but I am a woman of faith. So we start off praying, hoping, wishing, like, Lord, please, like, help me. I need some confidence. Then you go to read some books. Come on, Mel Robbins, a little Brene Brown. You try to get another certification. You go to YouTube University, and then you read the books. You attend the retreats. You even go to therapy, but you're still stuck, still not confident, still not fully embodying your power. And it's because you are not what I call aligned. So if you don't want to be stuck in your head, you're tired of that, let me show you what most women want. When I go and I speak at events, people will come up to me and say, Coach Sheree, how is it that you speak that way? So what you want as a smart, capable woman is you want to lead with confidence. You want presence, structure, influence. You want to own your voice. You want to speak what you think, mean what you say, and say what you mean. Whether you want to be a speaker or you simply want to articulate your thoughts to a group. This is what I call above ground. But what gives a woman confidence is what is going underground. And there are 5 hidden issues. If you stick with me, we're going to go through all of them that keep women from having confidence. One must deal what was going below the ground before we can deal with is above the ground. We have to have a foundation or else our house will crumble and fall. Now, this is what I call the aligned life. But a lot of women try to start off speaking without having a very clear foundation. So, what I want to walk you through very briefly is my alignment reset blueprint. This is the exact strategy that I use to take me from not confident to being fully confident. It's the IEMD method. So the first step we're going to do is I'm going to have you identify what are the issues that are causing you to not be confident. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to think of this like going to the doctor's office because any good doctor is going to do an assessment on you. If you are a physician and you come in and you don't assess me, here's the truth. How can we solve a problem if we don't know what the problem is? Yeah, so we've got to address the issue. So, number one, well, I want you to rate yourself on these areas. Your thoughts. Do you have confident thoughts about yourself? Or do you feel like I'm not enough? I don't know enough. I can never do this. I can never do that. Your mindset. This includes your thoughts. Do you have a positive forward thinking mindset that brings you confidence, or like be honest, you have a negative mindset? How confident are you in your relationships to articulate what you need? Do you have empowering emotions that bring you confidence or disempowering emotions? When you speak in a room, can you take up your space? Are you confident with your decisions? So here's what I want you to do. Pause the video and rate yourself quickly on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 is fully confident. 1 says I'm really lacking confidence. And remember, we cannot correct what we do not address. So as you come back from the video, pausing the video, I want you to know that in the past, I wasn't like this. I was frustrated and angry and stuff, but now I live my dream, going around speaking to women and empowering them to not just use their voice, own their voice, be confident to think, speak, and lead. But these results are not typical. The reason why is because as women, sometimes like, have you ever gone to the store and it's like, which pair of shoes do I need to buy? Sometimes in life, we can live in the land of indecision. I want you to remember this. Indecision is a decision. It is a decision to stay stuck. Uh-huh. Indecision is a decision to stay stuck. So we need to be deciding women. We do not need to be indecisive women. Big difference. So here's what happens when a woman is not confident, she's not aligned. These are the 5 issues that she's dealing with, and I'm going to go through them individually. So what I'm going to do is, so we've identified the issue. Now we need to expose the hidden issues, or we've identified where your confidence is. Now we need to expose the hidden issues. So the very first issue is when you're not confident, you are still exhausted. That's right. You are still exhausted. And the reason why there is this mindset that so many women have that keeps them drained of walking with power. And the mindset is around boundaries. So many women think that boundaries are about keeping people out, when, girl, your boundaries are about you keeping your peace in. I remember myself just being in a situation where, my goodness, felt like, man, I'm just doing too much. I dealt with treatment that I shouldn't have. I dealt with comments that needed to be corrected. But the truth was that people weren't the problem. My lack of boundaries were the problem. And so many women have to remember this principle that when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, it is insanity. Sometimes we say we are doing too much, where the truth is we are allowing too much. And you just have to be willing to say, is this lack of confidence a cost that you're willing to pay? And if nothing changes, guess what? Nothing changes. So let me get to the next issue. When you're not confident, it's because you are slowly losing respect for yourself. You're supposed to say something and you don't. You need to address something and you do not. You need to speak clearer, and for whatever reason, you shrink. And many times it's because of the mindset around, I don't want to make people mad. Make people mad. I don't want to make my mom mad. I don't want to make my in-laws mad. I don't want to make my partner mad. I don't want to make my kids mad. Girl, you don't even want to make the dog mad. But are you making yourself mad? Remember that person that you were in a relationship with and you tolerated too much stuff because you did not want to make them mad. And there's this principle, and we've all heard it. You teach people how to treat you. Facts. When they overlook you, I wonder, have you taught them how to overlook you? Have you been so caught up in your head because you were more committed to someone else's comfort than telling the truth? I'm just saying. Are you more committed to somebody else's comfort than to telling the truth? So I was working with a businesswoman, and she was in the same situation where she wasn't addressing an issue with one of her employees. So guess what she did? She ended up hiring somebody else, and she lost money because when you're not confident, when you don't speak, you listen, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're losing respect for yourself, guess what? You're losing money for yourself. And get this, this is how much she lost. $40,000. $40,000 because of the sin of avoidance. But that's how much she lost. How much is your inability to speak up, to be confident? How much have you lost? I was taught I can't make people mad, but I learned it's not about me making people mad. I made my own self mad by not speaking up and staying quiet and stuck in my head. So you got to just understand, like, hey, do you value you? Or are you trying to make people comfortable? So the third hidden issue is you're in constant turmoil. Constant turmoil on the inside. Like, think about just how you feel when you need to address something with someone and you don't. Now, I said I'm confident, but I have issues as well. And one of my issues was this mindset, and so many women have this, is if you speak up that you might lose. You might lose an opportunity, you might lose face, you might lose respect. But the truth is, when you don't speak and articulate your thoughts, you're already losing. You are tolerating situations that are completely beneath you. Let me tell you something. When it comes to relationships and being confident, you've heard this saying, when people show you who they are, believe them. You must believe them. And I meet so many women that are in love with somebody's potential and they do not address that behavior. So in love with potential. I'm in love with you. Yeah, no, we need to stop looking at potential and start looking at behavior. So I was in a situation, I'm a go-getter type A person, but soft spot for people. Not a family member who I was constantly helping, and we're in this relationship. And I just looked up one day and I thought, why am I not drawing this boundary? Why am I doing this? Because I had sister savior syndrome. This is where there is a problem and you're going to solve it. Instead of you addressing the issues, you shrink back. And here's what I noticed. I was not in a relationship. I was involved in a transaction. So when I finally made a decision to speak up and say, I will no longer be engaging in this kind of relationship, which was really a transaction, and I drew the boundary, guess what? I lost the relationship. But the truth is, boundaries don't end relationships, they reveal relationships. And some of us are not speaking up for fear of what we might lose, but the truth is, you're already losing. You're already losing. That's the truth. So let me go through this real quick. Don't stay. You want to make sure you get those fine mindsets. Is number 4 is that when you're dealing with the underground, we're in overthinking mode. Overthinking. So here's what happens. A lot of women believe that you can't say no. I can't say no. But the truth is that if everything's important, guess what? Your voice is not important. Your confidence is not important. Your life is not important. What it is that you want to do is truly not important. Now, it's not your fault because so many women, they have what I call nice girl conditioning. So it starts in childhood where you were taught, be nice. You just need to share. You need to don't say no. So what happens is we are programmed as women that saying no is selfish and we need to be nice, and not being nice is mean. But that's not true. You must learn to say no to others so perhaps you can say yes to yourself. But when that's going on in the underground and we're fearing and we're not saying no, we're not speaking up because we're afraid, or if we say no, no, I don't like that idea in the boardroom. No, I don't think that's a great idea. Guess what? We end up losing and we shrink our voice instead of owning our voice. So I had a client named Monica, and what she recognized that was that being no was cruel to herself. So we had to help her understand how to articulate her voice, and it gave her clarity to her calling. And then the last hidden issue that you're dealing with, I need to look at the time, so just stick with me, is you lose your sense of self. You lose your sense of self when you're not speaking confidently. Why? Because your mouth is not saying what is on your mind. Now, I'm not saying you vent all of your feelings, but I'm saying at some point in time, you need to have the confidence to express your feelings. Now, and I would say this, when you don't know who you are, anybody else's definition is going to do. So my story of how I got into this work was I was at an IKEA. I met a coach because I felt stuck. I was stuck in my head, overthinking. Remember this, when you're in your head, you're dead. And I wanted to get a master's degree, write a book, become a speaker. And I remember the coach asked me, why is it that you're having such a hard time doing this? And what we revealed was that I was so afraid people were going to judge me for going out to help women and empower them to live their dream. So what the coach did is he asked me to write down all of these people that were judging me. And I remember what he did. I couldn't name one single person. And I remember what he did. He held a blank piece of paper in front of me and he said, Sheree, are you going to tell me you're going to let a bunch of no-name people stop you from being confident, owning your voice, and living your dream? And from that day, I made a decision. I would not do it any longer. I ended up getting that master's degree. I ended up writing a book, and I'm speaking around the United States. But the truth is I'm not special. Anyone can do this. I even ended up on a TEDx stage hosting a TEDx event, coaching TEDx speakers. Why? Because I made a decision to get out of my mind, the wrong mind, and I got coaching help and I get into the right state of mind. So you don't have to be special, but you do have to be willing to have a method and take action. Because when you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Old excuses, old reasons, old stories, and old lies. So let me show you what alignment is. Remember what I said earlier, that a lot of women want the aligned life where their purpose, their actions, their decisions, their emotions are all together. But here's what happens. A lot of women try to start speaking up. They over prepare, they rehearse, then they do it and then it crumbles. Why is that? Because the underground gets ignored. This is where limiting beliefs lives, past wounds, old patterns. So you need something to help break the pattern, establish the pattern, and then go above ground to start new patterns. That is what I call the aligned life. Now, there's a method in order to do this because we don't want to walk around exhausted, not having respect, in turmoil, overthinking, losing our sense of self, and misaligned with what we are really called to do. And you can agree that you've learned some things today. I can't cover everything, but I do want to give you the method. Stick with me because I'm going to give you those 5 mindsets. So the method that I have, it's the think, speak, lead system. It's a system, okay? It is a system. So this is what this is. It is 8 modules that helps women to get out of their head, because when you're in your head, you're dead. So module 1 is about, and you can pause the video if you want to read. This is going to stop you with that confusion, the lack of direction, the no focus. This is where we discover your why. Because when you don't know the reason for a pen, guess what? You can throw the pen, you can try to hurt someone with the pen, you abuse the pen. But when you know your why, you know what to do. And a lot of women are writing somebody else's story instead of writing their story. So my job in the first 2 modules is to help you identify your why. And at the end, you have a purpose clarity statement. It's an identity alignment system. Module 3, we work on boundaries and self-trust because when we're people pleasing and it drains us of energy, for whatever reason, we continue to be in these cycles and we have to correct what's going on under the ground. So when you speak, your voice carries with authority, with influence, and with respect. Then we have to help you build a life you love instead of settling for the life you have. And I'm using psychology to build a framework so that you understand that there are some actions that you are engaged in that are sabotaging you. So we get rid of perfectionism and comparison and get you to stop the self-sabotage. Module 5 is where you learn what's going on when you speak, because most women, their voice gets caught under pressure. So we need to identify what is it that causes you to shrink and what is it that will cause you to function. Again, you cannot correct problems that you don't know. Then those of you who have tried and you started and you stopped, you're in a loop. And these are learned behaviors. So my job is to help you get off the crazy ramp because I've been there. Procrastination, starting and stopping, and it builds confidence with yourself. Each module helps you to build belief. Module 7 and 8, we go above the ground and I help you understand how to communicate effectively with your thoughts like a boss. We work on executive presence. So as you can see me talking with you, I have what is called presence. That is technique. So when I talk, people listen, but I'm using specific techniques so I don't just own my voice, I communicate effectively with my voice. So I'm going to give you some technique to make sure that you have what is called embodied presence. So if you are serious about going through, and I have several testimonies here, the modules, here they are, module 1, module 2, we deal with overthinking, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, people-pleasing, guilt, resentment, shame, perfection, comparison, rambling, because you know people who ramble, my goodness, sneezing, communication anxiety, starting and stopping procrastination, weak delivery, lack of authority, low executive presence. And then we look at the communication style framework. How are you going to communicate? If you're serious about speaking confidently, as you see, I'm a confident communicator. I'm not rambling, stuttering. I mean, sometimes, my voice gets caught, but that's just that some of that is normal. If you are serious about speaking confidently and you want to get paid for your work, what you're worth, you will have to learn how to be an effective communicator. Not a faker communicator, an embodied communicator. What I want you to do is to book a call with me. I will go through the frameworks. We'll talk about your goals, what it is you want to do. So make sure you click the link in this email. Schedule a call with me. Let's see what you need to get on track. And I promise you, after you go through the modules, 100%, I'm confident that you'll be more confident, you'll be more clear, and you will be well on your way to, instead of living that 3, 4, 5 confidence, that 10 level confidence. I cannot wait to meet you at our call, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.